we think that we do have a better alternative, and today we're going to show it to you. My name is Marie Simaglia, and I'm a practice development consultant here at AccountantsWorld. The goal of this webinar is to show you how using AccountantsWorld products will give you a better way to increase your profits without having to find new clients. I assume most of you are probably using QuickBooks or something similar for your accounting software. Also, you may be outsourcing payroll or doing payroll for your clients using software that just can't compete with the service bureaus. Let me tell you what our value proposition is, and you decide if it makes sense for you to listen to our story. First, in terms of accounting software, we offer a unique solution that's designed to give you more control over your client engagements. No longer will you have to deal with your clients doing steps A through E in the accounting process, then you doing steps G through N, and then your client coming in and changing and messing up what you just did. You'll be able to control steps A through Z in the process, so you'll spend less time cleaning up their mistakes. You'll also spend less time because you can create a uniform chart of accounts that you can apply over all of your clients. And also spend less time because you'll have only one up-to-date software version to work with. We'll show you how you'll be able to do write-up work faster and deliver better results to your clients for less money. Finally, we'll show you how easy it is to tap into the very lucrative service of providing live payroll. If you're not providing this easy-to-deliver service right now, just think about how profitable doing payroll is for ADP and Paychecks. They're generating a lot of money by offering these payroll services, and this is revenue that could be yours. With the right technology, payroll is actually easy to do and, believe it or not, more profitable than doing tax returns. So today, we're going to show you just some of the features in our programs that will streamline your work processes, open new revenue opportunities, enhance your client relationships, and ultimately lead to higher profits. Our user base, as you'll see, runs the gamut from sole practitioners up to and including many of the top 100 accounting firms. Soon, I'll be joined by Lenny Battalieri, who's our accounting implementation specialist and is also a practicing accountant, and then by Roger Batista, who's our payroll specialist. They'll show you a live demonstration of accounting power and payroll relief so that you can see firsthand what our software looks like and the benefits of using it. There's much for us to show you today, so let's get started. Let's take a look at our agenda. First, we're going to go over a quick overview of AccountantsWorld and who we are. Then, Lenny and Roger will take you through a demonstration of our Power Practice Suite, focusing on both accounting power and payroll relief. Lastly, I'll review the pricing with you, and for those of you on the webinar today, we have a very special offer for you. All right, let me tell you a little bit about AccountantsWorld. We've been serving accounting professionals for over 30 years now. We're the pioneer in cloud-based solutions for accountants, and we've been developing true cloud solutions for over 15 years, longer than anyone else. You should know that we never sell directly to your clients because we believe that they're your most important asset and only you should deal with them and profit from them. Your clients are your clients, and we won't use you as a marketing tool to get to them. So if you're running a payroll business or thinking of getting into it, unlike Intuit, we won't be advertising to your clients to take the business from you. We want to be your partner for success because when you win, we win. Those aren't just words. You'll see that in the products that we build and in the prices that we charge. We built our solutions from the ground up using the latest technologies, so we have no legacy issues or speed issues. All of our products have been in the field for over 10 years, constantly being refined with user feedback and with our own innovations. You'll see for yourself how they surpass the capabilities of every other solution out there. These are just some of the reasons top firms like these are using our suite of products to better serve their clients. Firms like HBK, Seidel Schroeder, RSM McGladdery, Swift Checks. All right, these are some of the firms that are using our products, all right, and we're adding more and more every day. Also, you should feel secure knowing that CPA Practice Advisor gave our Accounting Power program their highest rating this year, which is 5 stars. Payroll Relief was also given the highest rating by CPA Practice Advisor too. which is, again, 5 stars. In fact, Payroll Relief processes over $4 billion in transactions every year, and AccountantsWorld is one of only a handful of companies that's passed the IRS assurance testing system. So this is who we are, and these are 2 of our flagship products. So now, let's start the live demonstration of our products so you could see how they'll allow you to do more than your current software solutions do now, how fast they work, and later, which is even better, the price you'll have to pay. So now what I'd like to do is turn the presentation over to Lenny Baudelieri, who's going to walk you through our portal and accounting power. Lenny?
Thank you, Marie, and hello, everybody. The screen that I'm showing you is one of our applications we offer. It's called Website Relief. I'm sure all of you on the webinar today have a website, but we're starting here because we develop products for the accounting professional. And because of that, we want to build up your importance and your role with your clients by strengthening that relationship that you already established. So by doing that and deciding if you are going to choose to collaborate with clients using AccountantsWorld products, you and your clients can access these programs through your website, thus bringing more traffic to your existing website that you have with us. But again, some firms we speak to aren't happy with the websites that they have, and here is just an example of some of the types of pages that you could have, social media integration and links available to you. Once you or your clients log in, okay, our programs are designed again to make you the focal point in this relationship. So on the top left, this ASPS payroll logo, fictitious company here that we just have to represent this demonstration would be an example of your firm logo or firm name. Okay, it'll welcome the person that's logged in. And here are the list of other applications that we offer. Now, Accounting Power is what we're going to be going over today. It's an alternative to QuickBooks and any other over-the-counter products that you may be using. Our after-the-fact payroll program is just that. It's a compliance program that will let you generate payroll compliance forms and electronically file those forms. Cloud Cabinet is our document management portal system. It will give you the ability to securely store documents and share documents between you and your client. Payroll Relief is our live payroll application. Again, Marie mentioned how a lot of our users are generating a lot of revenue using Payroll Relief, and we want to show you how to take advantage of that as well rather than giving it out to ADP and Paychecks. Practice Relief is a time and billing program, and all of these programs, if you decided to use them, will streamline your workflow process, thus allowing you to do more in less time because the data would flow from one program to the other. And we do that under setup with a common client database. Set up your clients one time and then decide what programs you're going to be using with them or on behalf of them. The benefit, of course, is that your clients only need to know one password to get into the programs, and that holds true for you and your staff. With our programs, there are no limits to the number of clients that you could use within our programs or the number of staff that can access the programs. So let's get started with Accounting Power. Again, just want to point out, privately branded, accessible through any browser you or your clients may be using. Google Chrome, Safari Firefox, Internet Explorer, even a smartphone or an iPad. Now you have the mobility that you didn't have with just in-house software. The program consists of 2 major parts, a bookkeeping module for those clients that are currently using such programs like QuickBooks or Xero or Peachtree, now can do that same work in this program. So again, no more file transfers, no more different versions to worry about, okay? and a professional system for you to handle your write-up clients. And by that I mean clients that you get their monthly bank statements and someone in your office keys in those transactions and then produces the financials and the reports to communicate back to your client on how well they're doing. So let's get started with write-up clients. Okay, I'm sure everyone has those, and we want to make it easier for you and more profitable to handle those types of clients. So with that said, when you go to write-up and entry, we have a heads-down method. So you simply are going in here, starting to type in a particular vendor, and just hitting the enter key or tab key, putting in a dollar amount, and then breaking it out by department or job should you want specific reports for this particular client. Hit save, and now that transaction is recorded on the right-hand side. When you're done entering the cash disbursements for this particular client, you can now check the hash totals and the transaction count to that of what's on the bank statement to make sure there were no omissions or data entry errors. Now, if there was any type of issue here in the sense of something entered wrong, you could simply click on that amount or that line where it could be brought over and say that this should have been 154 rather than 145, and the amounts are automatically updated. When everything is correct, you could simply come up to the top right and post it into the system where this information will be part of the bank reconciliation, trial balance, financials, and report section of the program. But now, while this is easy and quick, okay, we want you to think of your clients right now that are doing 50, 100 transactions in a month, and times that by how many clients you have, okay? Well, we have a more cost-effective way of doing this in the sense that all of these transactions, instead of being keyed in, can be uploaded through our bank and credit card bank feeds. Simply click on it, set it up, bring in the transactions for that period, and these items are in. And the program is a learn as it goes type of program. So if there were aliases or accounts that needed to be assigned specific vendors or transactions that needed to be assigned different vendors, the system learns as it goes. So the next time that transaction would be uploaded, the system will know where to post that transaction in accounting power. So again, a very quick way for you to enter that data. Now, once the data is entered, you're able to review this data to make sure everything is correct. So like I said, under banking and reconciliation, you can do your bank rec. All right, simply enter the bank balance, check off what items have cleared, and then hit save. And you could even print that reconciliation if you like. From there, you may want to review the trial balance and click on trial balance. Here, the numbers will all come in for the period that you have open or any period you like to review, including year to date. And you could see all of the numbers for that period where you have drill down capabilities to then review the transactions that make up that number, and then further capabilities to drill down to the source document and make any changes if necessary, like reclassifying the account or changing the amount. Now, one of the benefits of using this screen is that these headings can be customized. So you could go to select columns and check what you want to see. Maybe there is some tax information that you rather see. You could check that so you could see it. Another advantage of this screen is if you have multiple staff working on a specific client, okay? Staff members that are reviewing this process can go in and enter tick marks and notes, letting the next person know what has been done, okay, and where they left off. And if you the managing partner, the final reviewer, you can see now what has been done, what needs to still be done, and review all of this data as well, using chart of accounts and this type of capability that you do not find with programs that are geared for your client, the end user. Now, from there, okay, and you see that everything's okay. If there are any journal entries that you need to make, adjusting entries, under write-up, you have general journals, you have adjustments that you can do here as well. But when it comes down to the financials, this is one of the items that sets us apart. When you go to print financials, you now get a full set of reports available, including an accountant's letter and footnotes. Now, all of the letters are compliant. Right now, we're SARS 21 compliant and updated automatically. You don't need to worry about things like that with our system. Now, you're choosing what reports you want. You're going into print. And while this is gathering data, I do want to point out that we're going through another application to do this demonstration, and you're seeing the speed that this program offers. So now I have an example of my cover letter, my table of contents, my accountant's letter, very crisp, clean, my balance sheet, assets on one page, liabilities and equity on another, my income statement showing with percentage of sales, cash flow, return earnings, and then finally a footnote. Now, this was a basic type of financial, but within it, this is a how-to as far as customizing it, from preferences down to letters. An example of how easy it is to customize is that you're simply checking items that you want to represent on your financial or unchecking what you don't want. So maybe this time I don't want to show percentage of sales. Uncheck and hit save. Okay? Formatting the financial. Okay, simply done where I use an example, the cash account. Well, you could combine and print a supporting schedule. You could list them with head subtotals, etc. You're choosing, and then just hitting save. You could have multiple different formats within the program for balance sheet and income statement. So now when you go back up to financials and print financials, you have this custom format. You have your different choices of the format you'd want. I can now go for a comparative income statement, have other options, okay? And then again, because of letters, financials, choose what letter, what financial footnote you may want for this particular client that you're in. And that client is represented on the top right by the name. Now, that same financial that we just looked at, with just a few clicks, now has changed a little bit. Your table of contents is including supporting schedules. Okay, your letter is the same here, but now my cash account is one number rather than separate. My income statement is comparative. I took out the percentage of sales. Okay, I have my supporting breakdown of the cash, and then I chose a different type of footnote. So that's the ease of going from A to Z with your write-up clients and producing professional-looking reports for them. Now, a few things here to also consider is reports. Within our system, you have a series of reports here. One of the ones that we like to show and get positive feedback from are performance analysis reports, where instead of sending a financial to your client who usually doesn't understand it unless you're sitting down with them and explaining it, what our users do is simply click a PDF here and send a graph or send a report that's graph-based, giving cash balances, operating trend, a pie chart as to where their money is being spent, okay? A report of who owes who money and where money is due or coming in, and then a type of budget versus actual for your clients to look at. Also available through reports are your transaction reports like trial balance, general ledger, check register, journal entries. The program gives you everything that you have now plus more. Plus more is how are you printing out reports now? Usually one at a time, looking at it, printing it one at a time. Well, with ours, we have a report set. You go in to build sets, choose the reports that you want. Now, when you go in and print or PDF them, all of them will show one after the other. When you go hit the printer icon, they'll all print one after the other. And if you get our document management portal system cloud cabinet, when you close a period or close a year, all of these reports are saved automatically. No further action on your part. So that's handling your write-up clients. But now you may have clients that are, like I said, using QuickBooks as an example to do their own bookkeeping. Like Marie said, our program puts you in control of this client accounting relationship, and you have the ability to diminish the amount of errors that a client could make by customizing the program to that of what you know that they can handle. So under company and the setup, our programs are permission-based. You determine what you want your client to have access to. Okay? So normally, if they are using QuickBooks, they're doing it to write checks, enter bills, or generate invoices. You could give them that same right. So when they log in, they only see their information and only the tabs and parts of the program that you've given them access to. And we developed this so the learning curve is very small for everybody involved. So if a client was going to be writing a check, they see a check stub. Because of the data migration we offer and the setup that you've done, okay, they could write a check to whoever, and as they start typing in the name of a particular vendor, a list will show, they hit enter, it will populate the check, they put in the amount of money, okay, that too will then be populated. We work off of any QuickBook compatible check stock. It knows that it's going to be expense to accounting, and then they choose what bank account they'd like to write this check against to see if there's enough money in that account to cover that check, and then they would simply just go in to print, see the check stub on screen first, review it, put the check stock in the printer, hit the printer icon, and then record the check. Once the record check is clicked on, this amount, this data is in the system for you and your staff to review at any time you like. Okay? If they were going to be generating invoices, again, the functionality that they have is what they have now probably, okay? But we go a step further, again, with having the information so that way when your client goes in, you know by default what they do, so now everything is calculated for them. So all they have to do then is decide to whether they want to email it to the client or print it out and send it. Now, while the defaults are here, your client has access to all of these columns, and they could go in and make a change, click the mouse, and it recalculates on the fly. But what we add here is something like inventory, not a third-party program to purchase, but part of our program. So you could keep track of inventory if you like. But again, it does everything that your client is using right now with recurring invoicing, breaking out by job and department, generating an invoice, getting a merchant account set up so that way their clients can pay via credit card if they send them an email, all included in Accounting Power. Expenses and entering bills. I'm not going to save this, okay? They simply go in, type in a name of a particular vendor, hit the tab key, enter key, or just go right to the mouse and put in a dollar amount, okay? And once that's done, hit save, go up back to expenses and pay bills. You would get the list of the bills that were generated. Again, choose the bank account to write these checks against, select the ones they want to pay, hit approve, hit save, and the system will bring them to the check printing screen where they can batch print, select all of them, select just the one that they want to print, and do that same procedure that I showed you previously. If they're using Bill.com and want to do it electronically, well, under our integration, Bill.com, we have the ability to sync with Bill.com so that can be done. So I hope I showed you the ease and the quickness again that your client would have by using this application and you not having to run after them or different versions and file transfers and having that control. Now, there is another set of clients that you may be working with, and those are clients that you're doing full bookkeeping services for. You're paying their bills on their behalf. Now, this is where the growth in accounting is, at least based upon last year's webinars, seminars, and even trade magazines, okay? If you have a client, or let your clients become aware that you can offer this type of service, even if you're a sole practitioner, okay? If their bookkeeper should leave them because of whatever, retirement, illness, another job, okay? If they know you could do this type of work, okay, it's a win-win for all parties. Your engagement fee would be increased, your client saving money, and the program will help you manage all of that. So under Client Center, Client Activity, you can see your client's bookkeeping activity. What would happen in the process? Your client would take a picture of that invoice using their cell phone, and it will immediately be attached to Accounting Power through a link that we provide. Okay? This will come in. You would see this information. You would go to expenses and enter bills, see those bills that need to be paid, attach them to the system, and enter that data for them and do that process. Now again, I could go through, but it's entering bills. You would see it when you go in and you're in a vendor again. I'm doing it the back way, but there's an attached. These little invoices that were there are going to be there where it can now be attached here. You would hit preview, see that. Now this is a permanent attachment, but your staff now sees that there's a $3,000 invoice to be put in and have that saved. And it's the same process I showed you before. Pay bills, but now you know that this has an attachment to it. You could give your clients access to just this area where they could come in to select which bills they want you to pay. Once they check it or change the amount, they would hit approve, and that would be it after they save it. When you log in, it will bring you to the check printing screen letting you know that there are checks to be printed. And then also, when you go to Client Activity, that's where this will change the columns. Now, you have clients maybe now that you've given them access to approve those bills, but maybe not approving it as fast as you would like. Well, the program gives you the ability to easily communicate with your clients. So if you see a client that may have a lot of bills to be approved, you could check off those particular clients or all of them, okay, and go to the top right and hit email. We give you the ability to customize an email and send it to your clients broadcast email, or choose the canned option where we have in there approved bills. Hit the send email, and all of your clients will get this email reminding them that they have bills that need approval. They will not see anybody else's email address, and now you communicated very easily through this program to all of your clients. So the program can handle the majority, if not all, of your client needs. Now, again, we talk about what makes this better, though, real better than what's on the market. Well, again, because you're having that control, privately branded, we want you to be now able to manage your client base more effectively and be a virtual CFO for your client. So how do we do that? Well, when you come into the program in the morning, we ask you to go to Client Snapshot. And here now, you will see all of your clients in one central location. Now, why am I making a big deal about this? Think about it now. How do you know if a client of yours is running into any difficulty, whether their cash balances are going too low or their accounts receivables are going too high? Okay, how do you know right now? And in most programs out there, unless you go into each client one at a time and go through all of your clients to find that out, okay, it's waste time. Here now, you see all of your clients with real-time numbers, because if the client's using the program, real-time numbers, and if you take advantage of the bank feed capability, real-time numbers, on key performance indicators. And now you could come in the morning, take a look at these numbers with the client, and see if a client needs a quick email, a quick call to see what's going on. And to further assist you in that, you notice that some numbers are in red. We have a system of what we call alerts that you could put in dollar amount thresholds for each key performance indicator you wanted to be made aware of. And if that threshold is crossed, the numbers turn from black to red, making you know for sure these clients definitely need some type of follow-up call from you, from your office. But managing your client base is important too. And here you could see what current period they're all in, their year end, when was the last time a client logged in. So you have all of this information. And when you go on and click on any of the client, it will open up to that client where you can get further information by clicking on their dashboard. And here you're seeing just information regarding just this particular client. And you could look, since you're proactively going to be calling the client because of the alert that you set up, maybe you could see if there's anything else you'd like to talk to them about. I'm a staunch advocate of looking at my client's cash flow because it has a direct impact on me. Because when I go to the client, I do not want to hear they have no money to pay my fee. Okay, so you have the option to click on the headers here and see that, you know, there's a client that owes my client quite a few dollars. But when you go to the alert button here, you will see all of the alerts that you've set up. So now my calls to my clients and others that we talk to here at AccountantsWorld is, hey, it's Lenny, how you doing? I was reviewing your books. I noticed a few things that I wanted to discuss with you. Do you have a few moments? Great. Listen, Barnacle Bills, they owe you $39,000. Denver Industrial, $31,700. This is not enough to affect your cash flow, but I don't want that to happen and get out of control. So I have ideas that I like to share with you to get this money in. I also noticed possibly that a check was written for a dollar amount that is higher than what you usually would write a check for. And if you've got that phone call, how does that make you feel? It's got to make you feel more confident that your accountant is on top of everything, looking out for your best interest. This is what our programs give you the ability to do. Now, to get started, we have under integration, QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, or an Excel format that will bring data over into the program very easily. An example, I go into Excel just to show you that we bring in chart of accounts, beginning balances, product, services, customers, etc., plus prior and current year transactions. So you could do a comparative financial the first year in Accounting Power. And we help. We include support. We include page-sensitive help. We include under resources, training videos, webinars, all to make this transition over to our program smooth and the use of the program successful. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for spending time to allow me to talk about and show you Accounting Power. What I like to do right now is just ask for one polling question, and then Roger Batista will then speak to you about payroll relief. So if in a moment, okay, if you could answer this question, I'd appreciate a moment, and then I will close this and hand it over to Roger. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Take care.
Hi, Lenny. Thank you so much for a great presentation on Accounting Power and showing our users, customers, prospects how to use Accounting Power and all the benefits that it offers you. I think the poll might have been out of sync there for some reason, but shall we go on? Thank you so much for attending. My name is Roger Batista, and I'm going to start with a key screen in Payroll Relief. I'm one of the specialists that works on Payroll Relief on implementation and migration, and work with the development and programming team at AccountantsWorld. Been here for 15 years. One of the things I want to stress is that Payroll Relief isn't just an ordinary payroll program. The payroll program is designed for accounting professionals. It's designed for payroll professionals from the ground up. It's a cloud-based system. It allows you and gives you the capability to grow, whether you're currently doing a little bit of payroll right now, or whether you're doing a lot of payroll, or whether your plans are to continue growing. You need to have a program that will grow with you and has the tools and features and the capabilities to take you to the next level in running payroll. This program will run payrolls, to give you an idea, for employers that are in the restaurant business, or they are in the maybe certified payrolls, which is a specialty payroll. It'll do all of that. So there's really no limit to what Payroll Relief can really do. It can handle from a simple 5-employee company to a complex 1,500 employee company. In order to be able to do that, you have to have the right tools. And what I'm going to show you now is we're going to go through a series of screens showing you step by step how we're going to run a payroll for one employer, and then I'm going to show you the power that the payroll bureaus have, which we're going to put right in your fingertips. This power gives you the capability to run batch processing for an employer, for many employers at once. And this is key in order to be able to run massive amounts of payroll with minimal staff in a productive way and maximize your productivity and maximize your financial gain. What we're looking at here is every single employer, for example, in this demo that we can run payroll for. Now, this is no ordinary screen. This screen has very, very important data. Right here in this column, it has the next pay date that you're going to have to run a payroll for these employers, as well as the date that you need to process the payroll by. And this is key, especially if you're doing direct deposit. It's telling you what the period ending date is and the status of these payrolls. Another thing that's important to note is that in Payroll Relief, you can have multiple people simultaneously running payroll from your staff at the same time, whether they're in your office or any other location around the world. It is irrelevant. You now can see exactly what the status is of each employer that payroll is being run for. And the program, because it's computer-based in the cloud, is capable of seeing the next tax due date as well as any past due forms if you were doing any of the compliance forms manually, because Payroll Relief does give you the capability to do everything electronically via e-services. Now, we're going to focus on one employer, Rogers Restaurant, and we're going to go to him. And what I'm going to show you is step-by-step what it's like to run a payroll for this one employer, because then I'm going to show you how you're going to be able to do batch processing and run payroll for mass number of employees at the same time. And like I said earlier, this is really key. So let's switch over to Rogers Restaurant. One of the things I want to emphasize is there's a lot of similarities between the layout, the interface, which is very intuitive, between, let's say, Payroll Relief and Accounting Power. So a lot of the things that Lenny said about Accounting Power pertain also to the layout and the flow of Payroll Relief, and you're going to see some similarities in some of the screens. This is called the dashboard, and the dashboard allows you to see one employer, Rogers Restaurant, which you can see up here. This is the employer that we happen to be in right now, and we're able to see all the different payday reminders because Payroll Relief can support up to 3 different pay schedules. It also shows you all the taxes that are due all the way out through the end of January. Notice that we're handling multiple states because Payroll Relief can handle payroll in all 50 states. The same thing with forms that might be happen to be due for Q4, at the end of Q4, anything out from out to the end of January 1/31. Extremely important, especially when you're setting up a new employer, is a diagnostic warning or report at the bottom. Since it is a program that is cloud-based and controlled by a computer, per se, it can analyze every single employer and the employer that you happen to be in at this moment and tells you if there's anything wrong before, and I stress, before you run the payroll. This is key. You do not want a surprise when you start running a payroll for an employer. You want to know if there's anything that's going to be a problem, that's going to prevent you from effectively being able to run that payroll on time, because as you well know, direct deposit has critical deadline times. Now, we're going to go, and I'm going to show you how to process payroll for one employer, as I said earlier. But before I do that, I want to stress a couple of things. I'm going to show you how to run a payroll in 3 different situations. I'm going to give you a situation where you can run a payroll that is a good way to do it. I'm going to show you a better way to do it. And I'm going to show you the best way to gather the payroll data to run a payroll. Now, let's go to payroll processing. And let me switch here to a monthly payroll. Now, first thing that we see here is that we have all the employees already listed. And you notice all the hours are already entered for you. Payroll Relief loves to work on defaults, and what that means is that you only have to enter the exceptions. That guarantees or assures that you have more accuracy and less errors. So in this particular situation, you would have gathered the hours from the employer. They would have called it in, or they gave it to you via a fax data sheet, and you have entered it into the program. And entering it or changing anything is as simple as, for example, 175, if we have to change it to 173, and we make that entry right on the screen. Another thing that's extremely important is you notice this gray bar that runs across. These are pay types that were set up specifically for an employer who happens to be in the restaurant field. So you have second shift, third shift hours, cash tips, paycheck tips, etc. But these are all customized because Payroll Relief will support unlimited number of payrolls and unlimited number of pay types and unlimited number of deductions. This is one way to gather the hours. Now I'm going to show you another way. You can generate in the program a customized Excel timesheet. The timesheet is going to have similar information that you saw on the data entry screen, with all of the defaults already, all the pay types listed, all the hours already entered. This you send to the employer. Believe me, he's going to love you for this because he only has to enter the differences, because all the defaults are already there. Less errors, more accuracy, faster input. He saves this and he goes and sends it back to you. And all you have to do is upload that timesheet directly into Payroll Relief, and then all the hours are entered flawlessly. But even a better way, probably one of the best ways to do it, have the employer go into the program via permissions and enter those hours himself. Via permissions, you can have the employer access the screen, control exactly what he's going to do, no more, no less, because the program is designed for an accounting or payroll professional. In other words, it's accountant-centric, not user-centric. They come in here, they can enter the hours themselves. Again, only the default changes have to be entered, and then they're ready to calculate. So let's assume that we've collected the hours and we're ready to roll, and you calculate the hours in any one of the three formats. Immediately, Payroll Relief does the calculation, and it gives you a payroll summary of that payroll for the employer. So you can see at a high level the entire cost of the payroll, all the way down to the bottom where it's actually summed up for you. But it's quite likely that you might want to look at this a little deeper, a little closer. You want to have more control. You want to know what happened, or maybe the employer has questions. Maybe you want to send this report to him before you run the payroll to ensure accuracy in case there's any last-minute changes that need to be accomplished. Guess what? Yeah, that is something that you can perform. By clicking report, you can actually open up a report, or you can also email him this report that I'm going to show you. This report will show a payroll register pre-approval, detailed, broken down. By the way, Payroll Relief supports unlimited number of locations and an unlimited number of departments, broken down by location, broken down by department if you're using that. And those of you that are using QuickBooks classes is synonymous to departments at AccountantsWorld with Payroll Relief. You have every single employer broken down with all the detailed taxes, etc. Some subtotaled all the way down, page after page for each employee, for each location. And at the end of this report, you have something that's extremely important. Again, we're always looking for ways to minimize errors. A payroll comparison report providing you a variance of the difference between the current payroll and the previous payroll. So if you ran maybe a bonus, some bonuses for, at the end of the year, which is pretty common, right? You would expect the variance to be higher from one week to the other. But if you were running payrolls consecutively, it probably should be low. And if it was high, it'd be a reason to go ahead and take a look a little deeper into the program and find out why is it that there is a difference in the numbers. So you've reviewed the summary. They've reviewed the summary. You're a client, and everything seems to be okay. And now you're ready to approve the payroll. Before I do this, I want to stress something and go through a few things with you of what happens, what magic is going to happen when we click this approve button, because it's a multitude of steps that take place simultaneously without you having to do anything extra. Let me go through them because this is important. I want you to listen closely. A nacho file is going to be created if you're doing direct deposit. That notch file is going to be created. It's going to be submitted to the bank for processing. You don't need a third party to handle this. This is all done behind the scenes without any extra work on your part after you click approve. Taxes. Taxes are going to be calculated and scheduled to be paid. If you have an IRS semi-weekly depositor, it's going to be scheduled to be paid. If you have a next day tax depositor, it's going to be scheduled to be paid. Monthly is going to be scheduled to be paid. Forms, compliance forms. They're all going to be filled out on the fly, no delay, where you're able to look at the forms immediately and see what impact that has. If you made a negative payroll, you would be able to reflect that in the form instantly. And then reports. We have a multitude of reports, 38 different reports that itemize every single thing that you can think about, information that you would need to properly run a payroll. Let me say this one more time, and I'm going to say it in a summary fashion. Notch file is created. Forms are created and filled out, ready to be filed, scheduled to be filed. Payments scheduled to be filed, and reports scheduled to be filed. Everything is performed for you, so you don't have to do a thing. We click approve, and what I just said before has just occurred, and it takes us immediately to the printing checks. But we're not going to go printing a check here because I'm going to show you in a little while the power of payroll relief and being able to do batch processing. Now, you ran this payroll, and you may have some questions. You might wonder, gee, all this stuff happened in the background, Roger. I want to verify something. I just remembered that I need to check something. Maybe I made a change last week, and I want to see if that change took place. Or I want to better understand if everything was scheduled correctly because I made a change in the program right now. Well, guess what? Compliance, one of the most complex pieces of payroll, one of the most feared pieces of payroll, is at your fingertips to be analyzed instantly. You go into compliance payments, and you're able to see every single payment type, the due date, what is the amount, a drill down, for example, if we wanted to look at the federal and find out all the taxes that are comprised of that one particular payment that's going to be scheduled for December 15th, and it tells us exactly what they are and where they originated from each pay date. This is the kind of information at your fingertips. Additionally, you can view any payments that were made already. Manual payments, maybe you have to create a payment or you decide you have to make some change. You always have that option. And all that electronic stuff that happened in the background, guess what? Full control, because special payment options allows you to go in and change dates, amounts of electronic payments on the fly, whether you want to change one or all of them if need be, so you can make them manually at your own discretion if need be. But remember, the program does this all by itself. All the payments are done electronically without any intervention on your part. This is the power in the compliance module that Payroll Relief has, and there's so much more. Now, I showed you what happens with one employer, Rogers Restaurant. Imagine if you had 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 employers that you wanted to batch processing. You want to be able to do what I did for that one employer. You want to be able to do that for all 30 at one time or all 15 at one time. The choice is yours. Hence, batch processing, payroll approval. Here you're able to select a particular date range, for example, of payrolls that need to be scheduled to be paid or to be run. It tells you in advance. Again, remember the window that we had before with the diagnostics? Well, here, the same thing. We have a diagnostic exception. If there's any exceptions, it'll let us know beforehand, before you process these payrolls. You don't want to know afterwards. And then you can select, at your discretion, which employers that you want to run payroll for. Or you can select all of them via a single click. And then all you have to do is approve the payrolls. And the same magic that happened generating the form, the notch file, the reports, all of that will happen for all these employers simultaneously by clicking one button, approve payrolls, and everything is done in the background for you. That's the power that Payroll Relief gives you in batch processing. But that's not all. You've processed this, and now you may have to print checks or direct deposit vouchers. So guess what? We go on to check printing. Check printing affords you the same capability of batch processing, approving of payrolls, but for printing checks. So any employee that you process the payroll for, again, you'll be able to selectively pick each one or select them all Right from the screen, you can select whether you're going to use microchecks or precious seal checks for high volume, and whether you're using the stock top, middle, or bottom for your checks. And you're able to email all those checks at one time to each employer via one click, or you can print them on the screen and disseminate them to the employer at your discretion. But there's more. Maybe you have notifications to tell your client. Like, for example, this week we have Thanksgiving. You needed to notify the employer of all the dates or of the dates so that you can go ahead and let them know that they need to get the hours to you a little bit sooner. Well, guess what? You can do that via client notification. It affords you the same capability of being able to select individual clients or all your clients and generate an email from a series of emails that we provide you that it can, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and all of them have tokens. For example, here's the upcoming holiday affecting direct deposit already made out for you. But if you needed to, you can also generate a custom email of your choosing using a familiar Microsoft Outlook formatting screen, so you can format the text that you send the client, and each email will appear like it came from you directly to the client. That shows true professionalism for your organization and to your client. This is very, very, very important. Now, you're wondering, we're coming near year end, and all of you, I trust, especially if you're processing payroll, are aware of the fact that IRS has made some mandates. While they've loosened up on the ACA and moved the date out to, I believe, the end of March, right? By the way, Payroll Relief handles all ACA compliance 1094, 1095C forms for you. But just as important, okay, they also shorten the time frame for W-2s, where now you have to have them not only given to the employees by the end of January, but you have to send them, the government, the W-2s by the end of January. A tough act to follow, but that's for Payroll Relief, because Payroll Relief gives you the ability to batch process W-2s, and just with the same simplicity that you have in running a payroll and printing checks, you're able to batch process W-2s. But not only can you batch process them and send them in, you can email them to the employer, right? You can release them to the portal of employees, or you can e-file them. Release them to the employer, to the employees. What does that mean? Well, guess what? Every employee has what's called an employee portal, and it's at no additional charge. You're able to provide each employee, as long as he provides an email address, the employee can go into his employee portal, and not only can he see his pay stubs for all payrolls that are run within Payroll Relief, but he can see the W-2 forms. And 1099s, by the way, also. But here is what is really, really also very important. One of the things that an employee can do, and notice the forms are completely filled out, four-part up forms that we use. You can, or the employee can, I should say, provide or agree to electronic consent. And if he does, you don't even have to print the W-2s because the employee can get them right from here, as well as uploading W-4s and I-9s directly into the cloud cabinet linked to Payroll Relief, so the employee can see those here too. All this from the employee portal, and there's no additional charge for the portal. Let me switch back. Okay. Now, one of the things, reports. We talked about all the reports that Payroll Relief generates, right? Well, it's 38 different reports, and they're broken out into a series of four subsets. There's a series of payroll reports. There's a series of compliance reports. There's a series of management reports. And by the way, we provide full-time equivalence reports for managing the ACA, and employee reports. But you know, not every employer is the same. Each employer has unique, distinct requirements. And hence, since we realize that, and this program is designed for an accounting and payroll professional, we provide you the ability to generate customized reports for each one of your employers. okay? You can build a set, and you can decide exactly which reports will be selected for that employer, and you can change that report set on the fly. These reports get sent to the employer, and if you have a cloud cabinet, they also get uploaded to the cloud cabinet. Now, with all that said, you might be saying to yourself, you know, I'm really impressed with Payroll Relief, and I'd like to know a little bit more about it, but does this integrate with my accounting program? Well, guess what? With Accounting Power, Payroll Relief integrates like a glove. All the data flows seamlessly from Payroll Relief. All those journal entries, the payroll journal entries, flow seamlessly into Accounting Power. But we also, if you happen to have another accounting application, you can integrate, because we work with QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, or really any other programs like even Creative Solutions accounting program. So it doesn't really matter which accounting program you have. We can integrate and shake hands with them to transfer the data. Simultaneously, you might be thinking, well, okay, so I'm impressed with this and I would like to go forward, or I wonder what's involved. How do I migrate? How difficult is it? Because migration is always a scary thing. We have you covered there. Because of the common database, you're able to bring all the clients over. All the employers can come over very, very easily using an electronic Excel spreadsheet that we generate that's customized customized for Payroll Relief. We have another customized Excel that will help you bring the employee data over, whether you're bringing it from the QuickBooks Desktop, or you're migrating from Creative Solutions, or you're using, let's say, QuickBooks Online or any other application out there. And if your desire is to close out Q4 in the entire 2016 year with Payroll Relief, then we also provide you with an Excel to be able to bring that data over from your current application, all the prior payrolls, Q1, 2, 3, and 4, into Payroll Relief, so you can close it out and utilize all these great features in batch processing for the end of the year to facilitate the processing and closing out of 2016 in January. With that, I'd like to turn the meeting back to Marie, who will talk about a little bit about the pricing, which I'm sure you're interested in knowing. And I want to thank you so much for your attention and your time. I know this is a challenging week, and I want to wish you all a beautiful, happy Thanksgiving. Marie?
poll. I guess we can't run the same poll twice. So if you want to give us a call, all right, if you give me a call at 888-999-1366, I'm at extension 100. Again, my name is Marie, and if you'd like, either the 10% off, the demo, or if you have questions, please let me know, and I'll have someone, give you a call and reach out to you. Again, I'm at extension 100, and we hope to hear from you soon.